Next, may we have Mr. Ramesh Natarajan, CEO, Redington India, to share his experience.
It has always been my pleasure to connect with the channel partners. And in my last 3 decades of channel experience, that has been my most highly experienced engagement with the channel partners on their evolution over the times in the IT ecosystem. Let me take this opportunity to thank War India for giving this opportunity to connect up with the channel partners. And let me just start, first of all, thanking all the channel partners for the connect with and the business with Redington over the last many years. Coming to think of it, how we have evolved along with you, channel partners, over the last 23 years of Redington being in the India, being a homegrown organization in India, it has been really accelerating. Starting from the days where we were working with printing as our first product category, I think we have come a long way in building up the commercial PCs, the consumer PCs, moving on to the enterprise products, moving on to the components. And as the technology evolved, our engagement and relationship also evolved in terms of changing business models and emerging business models. That would started, should I say, as placing IT hardware in the premises of the customers, which is every single channel partner, including, let us say, Redington as a distributor, built our affinities or built our brand loyalty, starting off with HPI. I guess we have come a long way in terms of building the broad portfolio of IT products. And as we had also built, we see the channel partner ecosystem also building their presence, starting off with brand loyalties and brand affinities, but slowly moving on gradually, increasing their technology full footprint, whether it be servers, whether it be storage, followed on by networking, followed on by software, and moving on into the latest technologies. What has happened in the last about 3 and 5 years is that the technology landscape seems to be moving much faster than what it had probably evolved in the first 2 decades. The lot of business models are changing. A lot of new technologies are getting adopted at a faster pace. And are we, as a channel partner ecosystem, adapting to these changes as swiftly as possible? What used to be pure play hardware of servers and storage are now converging into a hyper converged infrastructure. What is quickly transforming, apart from having a hyper converged infrastructure, is also about infrastructure as a service through the cloud. As we move on to storages have moved from the traditional old system towards now the flash storage adoptions. The networking is now probably moving more advanced into the software-defined networking space. What probably is also helping us in terms of software is now moving on to be a DevOps platform. Application software is moving on to be software as a service, and operating systems are moving on to be available as platform as a service. So a lot of these hardware and software, which used to be sold with account management and which used to be sold on increasing capacity, is now slowly changing towards consumption models or utility models. How do we try and transform ourselves by not only managing the traditional IT ecosystem space, but also about getting ourselves to adopt to the new changing IT ecosystem, where it's just not about buying hardware and placing it to the increasing demands of the IT or the IT capacity of the customers, but it's also about how do we give them solutions of coexisting with on-premises along with cloud, and notwithstanding these two, We have now big data or data sciences about artificial intelligence and machine learning, which is helping us to get more insights into what kind of data, more insights by using analytics of the data available, which throws up a lot of insights into our business, which throws up a lot of analysis on business, on sales related, on process related, and so on and so forth. Now, how do we use analytics as a service? How do we use AI platform as a service? How can we use robots to try and do the mundane, regular, daily, activities? How do we then try and cut down the development times of the softwares? Now, a lot of these tools, a lot of these as a service model is coming across the globe, and a lot of customers at the top end of the pyramid are adapting to these services, which gives them a lot of insight into their business, thus helping them to focus on the core part of the business and leaving the other peripheral activities to these new everything as a service or anything as a service models to try and help them focus on the core applications. The question in front of both of us, or the question in front of the channel partners, and of course with us, is are we in a position to cater to changing demands of the customers? Are we geared well enough in terms of skill sets for us to address these changing customer demands? The last 9 months, if not more, on account of the pandemic, have only accelerated the use of these tools, use of analytics, use of security. The more and more data is being accessed now from remote workplaces, whether it be work from home or anywhere across the globe, or even now sectors like education coming on as learn from home. Security has become another most important as a service to be deployed by the customers. Now, are we as channel partners or are we as distributors coming closer to cater to the demands of customers is something which is the question in front of all of us. As Redington, we have geared enough, whether it be on the traditional business models in terms of pre-sales, in terms of proof of concepts, in terms of demo appliances, and in terms of building up a center of excellence shortly, which will help the channel partners to leverage upon. But what's more important is that in the newer technologies like cloud services, security as a services, we would want the channel partners to leverage on the investments made by Redington on these newer technologies, whether it be software-defined network, whether it be infrastructure as a service, whether it be digital transformation models, whether it be IoT-related business solutions, whether it be AI as a platform, analytics as a service. Redington is now fully geared by investing on the technical skills, gets certified people who can help take you through the journey of any customer, including yourself as a partner for your digital transformation, as well as the customer's ability to digitally transform their business models from where they are today to what they can be tomorrow in terms of keeping them digitally high quotient, okay, so as to cater to the customer's demands moving forward. The vaccines are probably expected in the quarters of JFM, which should help the market to grow with a lot of confidence. Well, a lot of ways to do business and connecting up might tend to change with the work from home, work from office models, but that has not stopped us in terms of keeping ourselves well engaged with partners like you and understanding your requirements. So we expect probably a very good growth moving into the next year. So we are well geared to try and capture the growth. We also see the compute part of it will continue to grow as the IT ecosystem will only get more critical and core to many of the businesses, because what has come out clearly and eventually out of this whole pandemic is that if you have not adopted to technology, you are probably bound to stay, if not fail. And if you have adopted to the newer technologies, you are probably bound to grow and succeed. And what's very critical as we see in the last about 9 months and more is that a lot of smaller organizations have made use of these AI as a platform, analytics as a service, infrastructure as a service, while being very nimble footed, have suddenly got the size of an elephant using these technologies and making them grow as against large rivals who have been in the business for about 2 decades and more. So they've suddenly made them very nimble footed. It have suddenly made them very agile in terms of their deliveries, in terms of their business outcomes and outputs. So one needs to be very sharp, and it's becoming critical to imbibe newer technologies. And we from our stack have also got in newer emerging brands, which we probably feel would be the shakers and movers going forward. And to name a couple of them, we can call it Splunk, okay, which is a security analytics or an IoT analytics tool. Sapiens, in today's environment, how do you measure productivity of your employees? Okay, Sapiens helps you in terms of arriving at that. And I see a lot of software development organizations are moving towards using Sapiens as a tool to try and measure productivity and even pay for services. And just another brand to start with is also Experian, okay, which is an analytics suite which helps in terms of rating credits for any of your customers or many of your customers. Is becoming pretty important in terms of moving forward on analyzing your customer. Cyglass, an AI-based threat intelligence into any corporate networks, and another tool called OFish, which is a tool to do spear phishing campaigns. Now, these are just new emerging technologies which are available in our stack, and a lot more which is on the pipeline. We are very clear that these are some technologies which will have to go hand in hand, okay, with your standard servers and storage and the other equipments which you have to sell across. And it's important that you try and get yourself trained, get yourself certified, and please be feel free to get connected with Redington at any of our branches all across the country to try and understand. Moving forward, digital transformation in any form, in any scale, starting from small, but then in medium, and then in a large ways, are absolute critical for any partner organizations to grow or any customer organizations to grow. And we have a full-fledged, should I say, 150 professionals cutting across different technologies to help you grow your knowledge, your skill sets, your certified professionals to address these requirements in the customer's place. So feel free to get connected up with us. In more than many ways, IT ecosystem has been lucky capturing whatever growth available in many sectors at these tough times of increasing capacity. Okay, there are still some verticals which are obviously, not really growing as much, and will take them a fairly longer time. But there are some verticals which has really used this opportunity to try and grow their core and critical businesses. But largely moving into the next year, we see most part of the businesses coming back to a robust growth. And to capture that robust growth and to be a part of the growing new IT technologies, feel free to depend on Redington and its investments to increase your capabilities and skill sets to address the market needs. And thank you for all your patronage thus far. And we look forward for a great FY21 closure and a wonderful FY22 for each one of you. With this, let me take this opportunity to thank you for your business and wishing you all a great new year ahead. Thank you.
We are delighted to announce the winner. Mr. Ramesh Natarajan, CEO Redington India, is our next channel chief. The best practices adopted by him to keep the whole partner community engaged and his vision is: the cornerstone of Redington's business has been our strong relationship with the partner community. The imperative is to build on the strong foundation that as an established partner community provides in terms of skills, customer engagement and execution ability among others. It is absolutely true that power plays an important role in everything we do.